Good morning. It's Wednesday, November 26th. I'm Phil Streible, Chief Market Strategist at Blue Line Futures. So starting off with that silver market, incredible move overnight, up another $1.18, 52.82 on that March contract. So the new narrative is that the global silver market faces fresh risks here after Chinese stockpiles sank to the lowest level in a decade, with huge volumes recently being shipped over to London to ease some of that supply squeeze that we saw here last month. So the inventories and warehouses linked to the Shanghai Futures Exchange hit one of the lowest levels since 2015. So the drawdowns come after those Chinese exports of the metal surged to more than 660 tons in October, the highest volume on record. Your critical levels of support here: the 50-day moving average at 49.11, the Friday, November 21st lows at 48.71. Your key trend support, which is going to be rising, is 47.81. So I believe that this type of setup here, this type of new narrative, really opens the door and push to new all-time highs. Now you shift to the gold market, up about $29 at 42.06, really aided by a little bit of dollar weakness and the growing chance of that interest rate cut by year end. So those bets on an interest rate cut have surged to more than 80% that we could see this quarter basis point cut at that December meeting. You got gold up about 55%, really boosted by the structural support of the central bank buying and then also ETF demand, as you've got the retail investor broadening out their portfolio, trying to downplay some of those risks here from that traditional 60-40 portfolio, which just hasn't played out over the last few years. Now you look at the stock market, you do have stock futures higher, really boosted by, again, that interest rate cut expectations, with the S&P 500 back over 6,800, the NASDAQ at 25,200. It's about 100 points higher overnight. We should see jobless claims, durable goods. Those are expected to come out along with Chicago PMI. Now the PMI figures and the PPI figures have been coming down recently. We've been calling for declining inflation while the labor market continues to weaken, and I believe that that really opens up the door for that potential interest rate cut. Now we are going to see the Fed Beige Book released here at about 2 p.m. That's going to be Eastern time, so looking at 1 p.m. Central time, and the markets now are anticipating, again, greater than an 80% chance that we cut 25 basis points. I've been telling you for a while now, although the timing is uncertain, when December was taken off the board, the direction of interest rate cuts remains clear. We're not in a hiking cycle whatsoever at the moment. So you got the dollar index anchoring right around that 100 level. You got the euro currency weighing down back at 115.81, down about 15 points. 10-year treasury yields, it's been a big call that we've been making on the channel over the last few weeks, is that yields would dip below 4%, and guess what? Overnight, 3.99%. So many clients here have been capitalizing on U.S. Treasury call spreads and as well as futures contracts. And then you get the VIX here pushing down about 20 points below that 20 mark. Above 20 is where you get that rising volatility back and forth and people's hair seemingly goes on fire, and then you got the day traders just getting stopped out left and right. Well, as we come below that 20 level, you get much of a smoother trade throughout the day here, but teetering on the edge of the 20 is where volatility could pick up. So at 1 minute, everything looks calm, and then the next minute the storm is brewing behind you and comes over. So you do have to have a cautious approach, especially in lighter volume situations. Now the dealer gamma is flipped back to long gamma, meaning that those dealers, those option dealers, they have to buy on weakness and they sell on strength. And what that does is it compresses the volatility. Now you got Bitcoin getting a little bit of love here, at least consolidating around this mid 80s level, 87,000, down about $375. Really that April low of 75,000 is your critical level of support. You go to the global markets here, European stocks, they followed the global markets higher. Traders betting on that interest rate cut and coming in December. And then you got UK stocks in focus here, with UK Chancellor Reeve is set to announce a long-awaited budget. You go over to Asia here, those stocks rose for a third straight day. The MSCI Asia Pacific Index jumped as much as 1.6%. And this is where things really get interesting in the metals markets, and specifically that silver, is that the ETFs added 7.53 million ounces yesterday in their holdings. Are these just people off work and they're just sitting around going, hey, silver looks like it might make another run to those all-time highs? So they added 7.53 million ounces. That's the biggest one-day increase that we've seen since October 21st. And what's that do to the gold-silver ratio? takes that sucker back below that 80 level. So 79-1 on the gold silver ratio. So precious metals look like the party is back on here at the moment. So you guys got any questions? You want to open up a futures trading account? A lot of people putting on some call spreads, some calculated risk plays, getting involved with that 1,000-ounce futures contract on the silver market, getting involved with gold from the 1, the 10, the 100-ounce contract. We've got a number of different things here that the CME provides here as far as futures contracts. So if you want to open up a futures trading account, shoot an email to info@bluelionfutures.com. And remember that futures and option trading does involve risk of loss, may not be suitable to all investors. Good luck, good trading.